Read me during the daytime. I'd rather remain anonymous. We lived at an old house in Litchfield, Maine. This house was made up of an odd layout, red colors peeling from the wood, almost like a barn, but long and skinny. We rented when I was maybe 10. I'm glad we didn't buy it. Inside the home were two second floors completely separated, one with a wooden staircase on the right and the other with a spiral staircase on the left, neither floor connected to the other in any way. A large old brick fireplace with a chimney leading in the middle of the home that we were told not to use in the living room. Our parents took the room on the first floor to the right, closest to the kitchen, while my brothers got the room with the spiral staircase, as it was much larger, and I got the wooden staircase with a loft. The floor with the spiral staircase had two crawl spaces with torn and tattered items stuffed inside. Mixed the insulation on both sides of their loft and a door in the middle leading to their room. While mine had just a window opening to the roof, this will be important for later. This one might have to be a two-parter. It is pretty long. On the left side of the first floor was another room and a bathroom adjacent to it. Behind the fireplace was a small corner where my stepfather had his monitor set up, and to the right of the computer area was a door leading to the backyard. The whole neighborhood always gave me eerie, scary vibes and consisted of numerous empty, vacant buildings like it had once been a town forgotten, that everyone had just left in a rush. I could write layers of these areas as we lived there for several years and had plenty of time to explore. On our property in the backyard, there was another two-story building on the right side that had looked like it burned down with rubble underneath the entirety of it, standing on only cinder blocks. But yet the buildings still stood. Maybe 200 yards past there were two more buildings hiding behind bare dead woods made up of molded scrap plywood with forgotten items of what was once there. Like the other building, it was made up of rubble, like it had also burned but was still there. Like someone didn't finish the job, or did, and the building just didn't approve, so it still stood. Inside these two buildings was a very old car with wooden wheels, an old hot tub turned on its side, and burned belongings everywhere, like confetti. Scraps of people who must have been there before. I must add that none of these buildings were on our blueprints that we had received for the property, which was weird. On the left side of the house, there was a slope connecting to our neighbor's property that had looked as though there were things buried underneath to create the slope between our home and theirs. My brothers and I would explore our new home, but it never felt like it was our home, just guests in someone else's. I remember two brothers and I were curious as to what was underneath this slope on the left side. We began to dig one day to start to uncover tarp, trash bags, and communities of maggots. We got scared when maggots started crawling on our hands, then we stopped and covered it back up. We never found out what was under there, and we didn't really want to. Back on the right side, where the buildings were there, was a trail on the left that ran through our property to the other two neighbors on the left, with an unmarked cemetery hidden in the woods. On the right, behind the two buildings out back, was another trail that led to even more empty, vacant, ghostly buildings, houses, motorhomes, and abandoned cars from decades ago that we had explored. If you followed this path, it would completely loop back around to the other side like a giant circle to our neighbors and then back to our house. And way out back of this trail was an old schoolhouse with desks that were joined by the chairs, two old school books, pencils, and scraps of what used to be. So many empty, vacant buildings down these roads, and nobody claimed them. I always thought as though when you went down our roads, I was going back in time with no one to answer any questions, a ghost town instead of a town that we lived in. Our neighbors were almost as creepy as the house we resided in, with a doll head made up of their mailbox post and pigs in their trash-ridden yard with no green grass in sight. A doll head? What the fuck is this, Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Even better, House of a Thousand Corpses. That's low-key what this sounds like. Just the doll head, though. The rest of it is giving Silent Hill. I don't know why. And our landlord's twin brother, the next house over on the left side coming down the dirt road, with a wife who was overly religious and had believed that her husband and I were having an affair when I was only 10. I was banned from their home when she was there while my brothers were allowed to go over. Only when she was gone was I allowed to come over with my brothers to play with their son around the same age as us. Odd. Sometimes when I would take walks down the dirt road, I would occasionally pass their house and could feel her staring me down, haunting me as I passed by like I had done something to her. See, now, this is why I can't have kids, right? Because if I would have moved into this house and my daughter was being shunned at fucking 10 years old because you think there's something going on with your grown-ass adult husband, these hands are rated E for fucking everyone, baby, okay? Their house would look like the houses that burnt down. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, no. This is why I can't fucking have kids. So this is definitely off with a bang. If you're watching this on YT in a compilation video, they do not have permission to utilize my content. I am begging. Please either notify me. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, YT, Spooky Scary Ghost Stories, and or report the video for stolen content. It really is not cool, guys. I'm trying so hard to catch all of them, but it's difficult when they take your content, even though you make it to where they can't take your content. Story is very, very good, and this is one of those stories that the second people hear me reading it, they're gonna be like, oh, this is fanfic, this isn't real, I live there and that's not what it's like. And I just couldn't care less what people who don't believe say. Do you know what I mean? This is really creepy though. I'm very curious as to where this is leading to, because so far all we're hearing is that Silent Hill exists and the people that live around these parts are something out of A House of a Thousand Corpses or Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know what I mean? It's giving Ed Gein. Yeah. I'll catch you in part 2. I love you. Bye.